Odoo because they gave me this opportunity to present. I wasn't sure, I just applied the first time I do it, and I got accepted, so I hope this will be interesting for you. So I will first make a brief introduction on what is my company, who I am a little bit. Then I will introduce the business context, why I started thinking about this module called Docx-Reports. Then a few slides without demo, just to introduce what is the solution, how we do it, how it works, and then we'll take half of the time for showing you how it works with the demo. So the company, Upsys is a young company. It's very atypical. We started recently this year. The company was founded about 1 year ago. And we started with 2 people who are not experts in informatics at the beginning. We are really functional experts in biological research. So it's very atypical, but during my past experience, I was always struggling to have good software for managing biological sciences. And a few years ago, I started thinking I should develop myself. I discovered Odoo. And then I decided to launch a company for providing solutions for this very specific field, which is interesting for academic laboratories, for pharmaceutical companies, and also young companies working on technologies for making the drugs of the future, which are, for example, therapeutic antibodies and things like that. So it's I will present you the module that I have developed for this purpose very briefly, because it will probably not talk very much to you. And we are supported by BPI France, by Genopole near Paris. It's a structure for startup companies in the health domain. Also Muséum d'Histoire Naturelle and Icula. They have also a program. It's providing hosting of servers. They have a program for startup where you don't pay for 1 or 2 years. It's interesting. So Biomatics is the Odoo module that we have developed for this domain. You know, it's based on Odoo. It's Odoo modules, and I like to show, when I show my company, I like to show that we are a little bit like Odoo. It's a type of ERP for this particular domain. So it's not Odoo modules for logistics, for production, but I can make the parallel because I'm trying to provide all the solutions for the company working in this field, and integrated solution all in one, which is Biomatics. Everything is based on Odoo. I won't spend more time on that because I think you are probably not familiar with what is cloning or plasmid or DNA sequencing. It's really a very specific domain. But then why did we start thinking about new ways of making reports? From discussions with our customers and prospects, we saw that they were interested in our solution, Biomatics, but they wanted also to have a report functionality for themselves sometimes, to print some documents, to store PDF, but also often because the business object that we manipulate, that we work on, are sometimes products, biological products, that they need to ship to someone. They make collaborations or outsourcing, and they want to to describe what is in the tube, what is the material. So it started with we need just a kind of product data sheet, very simple, to describe what is the protein, what is a plasmid, what is the chemical substance sometimes. So everything which is in the database, I thought then we need probably solutions to have a short overview in PDF format of everything that we have in the database, biological database. But these people wanted to have an easy way to configure such reports. Non-developers should be able to do new reports. You don't need to know how to program. And also, very important, this is why they wanted to be able not to get the PDF directly, but be able to have it in Word format, to be able to change it, maybe add some comments. So the Docx-Report module, in fact, it's an Odoo module. In the database, you have a list of all your report templates, and you configure it. You create new templates with Odoo. A template can use any of the model of any of the modules that you have, of any Odoo app that you have in your database. You can select one model and do a report on it, on any record that you have stored in the database. So I will show in a minute how it works. Technically, it's a small Odoo 12 add-on, compatible with Odoo Community, compatible with Odoo Enterprise, although I have not tested it, but there is no reason why it's not compatible with Odoo Enterprise. It should be, because it's not dependent on any other module. It's depending only on the base of Odoo. There is no dependency. The only dependency is that you need to install Python Docx module, because it uses some of this module, which is creating Word document and LibreOffice document using Python. So how it works, I will show it with a demo, but you have your list of report templates. You select the one you want. You can create your templates. You have a collection of templates. Once you have selected the templates, you select a record related to the same object. And you get a report that you can open with Word or LibreOffice. Just an example. This example will showing you in our context Biomatics, the software for managing biological samples. This is what you get, for example. I show it because in the examples I will show in the demo, I don't have an image. To show you that you can even incorporate image. If you have image fields in your document, you can select these fields and they will go in the report. So here it's a calculated image, in fact, that is in the database, and you can select it to get it in the report. Otherwise, the report, you have a title and list of fields you can organize, and you can add text. So let's see the demo. So for the demo, I didn't want to make the demo on my modules, Biomatics, because it will not be very interesting for you. You don't know what is this biology, is complex. So I selected another module that I'm not very familiar with. I'm not expert. I think maybe maintenance module is good because almost everyone understands what is maintenance. It's very simple. You have equipments, a list of equipments. You have maintenance teams, and you have requests whenever something is broken, or you can do. You create a request and you allocate it to you select an equipment and select it select a team to maintain it. So let's go to the demo part. Can you see the screen? Sorry, I don't know how to select this screen here now. Change the screen. Is there anything to do?
Which screen?
C'est Internet Explorer en fait. Maintenant, il faut basculer.
Ouais.
Je sais pas comment ça se fait, il était sans problème sur LibreOffice.
C'est ça. Voilà, ok. Maintenant plus.
To get it full screen, sorry. Full screen. Okay, so you see. So here it's, I will not take time on that. Here I have the different modules that are installed on my, it's Odoo community. I will go to the maintenance module just to show you that I've created for the purpose of the demo small database of, let's say, different maintenance teams working for a small company for maintenance of the vehicles, maintenance of laboratory equipment or computer equipment. I created a few requests that you can see here, just to be able to make a demo. And I have my list of equipments here. Okay, now moving to the Docx-Report module. It's very simple. It's not very complex. I have here list of different templates available. The three first are templates for biomatics module, so we'll not go to them. And then I will go to this one, which is a template. The idea is to have for each equipment a short sheet summarizing the status of the maintenance that have been done on this equipment. So if I open it, how is the report template organized? You have just on what type of module it applies. You have a title for it, which is a model. Here it's for equipment, maintenance equipment, and the different fields. So to create a report, of course, you need to know a little bit what are the fields, relevant fields in your model. You don't need to do programming, but you need to know and be able to select the fields. You see the content of the report will be organized by just sequentially the fields that you want to print, and you can add some text. You can add even large paragraph if you want. You can type any text that will be incorporated. So for example here, I have these different fields, the model of the equipment, where is it located, who is the responsible user, what maintenances were done. So you can select any type of field. It could be simple fields, or it could be many to one fields, or one to many fields. List of different. Here, for example, the maintenance. The different maintenances will be a list, and you will see how it goes when I do the. So once your template is created, you can just click on print, and then you have the opportunity to select on which record you want to print it. And by default, the system proposes to print the last modified record in your database. Here it's a water purifier, it's some type of instrument, but this one, not the one I'm interested. I wanted to print the maintenance for my vehicle, Peugeot 406, so I select it. Here I have the opportunity to change the title if I want, or to change the file name title. If I want another file name, I can change it. If it's okay, I just click and I can download the report. So I get my just the sheet with the model, where is it located, and what I want to show you here, for example, this table doesn't look perfect. I would like to have it a little bit differently, so I can just edit the document, and I have the possibility, maybe if I want, of course, because it's with LibreOffice, it's available. You can modify slightly the columns to have it better if you like. I have some difficulty to do it with my. Okay. Maybe here it will be better. Okay, no problem. It's not critical. I wanted to have the column better organized. Okay. Now I will show you how you create new. Do I have more time? I was supposed to get a notice after 10 minutes, but I think it's.
Yes.
Yeah. So now let's create together a new a report from scratch. So I come back to my list of templates and I will create a new one. So this time the idea would be to create a report related to a team, a maintenance team, all what they have to do, all the requests that are, maybe it's not very useful, but just for the purpose of the demo. So for example, we will call it team activity. And then I need here to select the module by the name. It's not optimal. Maybe there could be a list. Because I could do this report on the CRM. If it's installed, I could do it on accounting. I select the name of the module, and then doing that here, only the models of maintenance will be proposed. So I select maintenance teams. And I will then have the opportunity to add some text or some fields. Let's start with a field. Here, the fields that will be proposed are only the fields of the maintenance team model. So, for example, I want first to tell what is where the company maybe. I will add another field. What are the team members of this team? Just to have the team members. So here the members, team members, it will be another model where you can select different columns here in the team members. So for example, their name. We'll just put their name and we'll put also so I have some problem here. I want to have their name and maybe an email address as well. So it should be possible to get email address. Then I would like to, maybe I will just add an empty line. So I just text with a return, just to have it better. Then I will select maybe how many requests they have for this team. So it's another field in the which is request, number of requests. Here you see each time I select a field, I can either print it on the report with its label or without. So here I select to print it with a label. And if you don't want to use the default label, you can create a new one if you prefer to substitute. Here, for example, for number of requests, I don't know exactly, but you can change it if you want. Let's do a little bit more. Another field. Maybe the requests that are not scheduled yet. It's important for them to know how many requests they don't have scheduled. And then we'll change the title. Okay, let's add another field which is really the list of the requests that they have. So here I select the request, and the request is also a complex field with different subfields. So here I will remove the label because I will replace it with another one. And for each request I want to select maybe so the name of the request, and maybe the date of request, and maybe the date of when it is planned. So it's another date, scheduled date. So I will have 3 columns, in fact, in my table. So let's try to see like that if it works. But then I know that I forgot to put a title, so I will add the title afterwards. Let's print this report, for example, for the internal maintenance team. Okay, so I have my team, the team members. There are 2 team members with their email address. They have 3 requests. 1 is not scheduled, and I have listed the requests here. They have to maintain this equipment. Just the title is missing here. I wanted to put another title, so I will modify a little bit just to show that you can also modify an existing report template. I will go to edit mode and just add an additional field, text field here. And because I want to put a little bit more sophisticated title compared to what. So I'll first put details of requests taken in charge. So just for the sake of the demonstration, taken in charge by the team. Okay, so I have a title for this table. And here, it was added at the end, and you can of course move it at the right place like that. Then I print the same report again. Okay, it's almost finished. Oh, okay. I wanted to have this title, this as a title, so sorry, I will go again because I want the demo to be really good. This text, just select as a title so it will be bigger. Okay. So that was it for the demo. Maybe if you have more questions, we can come back to that. I have just a concluding slide. If I'm able to go back to the other presentation. Okay. So in fact, my idea coming here was this module is not really optimal now. There are things to improve. I have ideas to improve it. My plan is to try to improve it in the context of my business. So, for example, what would be good is currently we can do report only on one model. Sometimes you want more complex reports. You want to select, if you want to report on a whole project, maybe you have to access different models on the same report, so it's a functionality that you can add using the same logics. Every report is organized by the content, but you can select maybe different models for different lines. And also, my idea coming here was just collect some feedback. Anyone is interested in such an approach would maybe have questions or suggestions how we could improve. So I'm ready to take your questions.
How is the change of the style? The style of the template. For example, we have the logo on the left. We have your logo on the left, top left, right? What if you want to change the logo or move it on to the bottom right? Is it possible?
So in fact, everything is possible, but from the configuration here, the idea is to have a kind of things without coming into the code of the module. Currently, it's not possible to change where to put the logo. The only thing you can change is put your own logo instead of this one, of course. But changing the position will need coding. It's not something you can configure just by the module. And the style of the document is fixed. The only thing you can do is you have title and not title. It's very simple at the moment.
So you can customize it for your own company on code basis. So it would be possible if I install the app to customize my style on code base. Because I don't want.
Yeah, on the code you can. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Entering into the Python code and you can do it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, the question was how to customize the style of the document. I need to repeat the question, sorry.
The suggestion for improvement, maybe you can drag and drop the Docx template that you just created. You create the Docx in Word or...
This would be very nice. It would be quite complex for me, I think, to be able to do that with... but maybe if we can discuss more, maybe if you have ideas to do that, because it's not based on a template. It creates the document from scratch using Docx module, Python Docx module. It's an empty page and it's filled. There is no template. Okay, if you have more questions, maybe we can discuss outside because there is another talk that will start in a few minutes. Thank you for your attention.
C'est bon comme ça? Voilà. J'y va. Hi, my name is Nicolas Sanger. I'm a member of the SAS team of Odoo. So this team is in charge of maintaining all the SAS where Odoo runs. So during this year we conducted some tests to load test Odoo and check where we can reach the limits of Odoo in terms of requests per second. So I will explain you the methodology we used to test the stuff. I will show you the test we have conducted. I will show you either a comparison between a load balanced setup versus a monolithic setup, and finally the conclusions. So the biggest questions we have is always, which server size do I need for Odoo? So the answer is a bit more complex than just you need this server. Let's say we have 50 users. Generally speaking, customers ask for a size of Odoo in terms of users. Let's say you have 50 users, and those 50 users are either, in the first use case, you have users filling their timesheets, and they use Odoo 5 minutes per month to fill all their timesheets. Another use case is I have 50 users which validate pickings all day long. On the both case, we have 50 users, but those two use cases are totally different in terms of sizing of the machine. Even if we know that we have 50 users validating picking all day long, if you have a use case where you have some people validating a picking and that's it, or in terms of business code, you have users validating picking, and those picking triggers MRP or BOM or stuff like that. The second use case is even more hungry in terms of resources than the first use case. So some real use case we get to answer is, okay, the first use case is I need to import 10 sales orders per day. Normally this is really easily achievable, but all those sales orders have 100,000 lines. Another use case is a customer who have 300 POS sessions per day and each have 300 POS orders in each session. All of this is just a matter of the number of requests per second your server have to handle. So we'll take the methodology used to load test the server. We would like to load test Odoo. We don't want to test the bandwidth. That means I will not load test Odoo with my computer in the Odoo offices, or all I'll be able to test is just the bandwidth in the Odoo offices. So I need something to test on the internet. I don't want to test my laptop. Probably the most limiting factor in a load test, if I test with my laptop, will be my laptop. I don't want to test other stuff than Odoo. During those tests, I will show you that we have tested the way NFS is able to create files, the speed at which the kernel is able to open a TCP port between Nginx and Odoo, and stuff like that. That's not what we want to test. We want to test what Odoo is able to do. To do this, we need to choose a tool to load test Odoo. I like to use Locust, but it's not because I like to use this tool that this tool is the more accurate to use to load test Odoo. Locust use threads. That means when you launch multiple requests per second from Locust, all these requests are issued from threads. Due to Python DL, all the threads you launch can only use one CPU at a time. So I can have as many CPU as I want. If I have only one Locust instance, I can only use one of the CPU. And I don't want to measure the CPU speed of the testing machine. If I use another tool than locus, do I get the exact same results? And finally, has locus some limits, which means when I will reach some limits in the load test, do I reach the Odoo limits or the locus limits? To ensure this, we have tested many tools like locus, typehab, and stuff like that, and we get the same result. But to achieve the same results with locust, we must use slaves within locusts. When you do a load test with locust, you can have a master locust and some slaves. To be able to load test, you need to use slaves. It's not that hard to use slaves within locusts. So here's a small script which mainly launch as many slaves as I asks, and it will run for a given amount of time, and it will run the same test as many times as I asks to ensure that this test is repeatable and the results are accurate. So we have a testing tool, and now we need to check what to test. I need to check to choose a use case to load test my server. So will I use web login to test Odoo? If we use the statistics on the requests on the Odoo instances we have on the SaaS, you can check that the percentile 90 of the request is 0.1 seconds, which means 90% of the requests are answered by Odoo in less than 100 milliseconds. The percentile 95 is around 1 second. For a server, it takes around 1 second to render web login, and it takes around 100 milliseconds to give you an asset. So if my use case is asking for the web login page and 9 assets, I'm mainly reproducing the average request we have on the SaaS. Given the fact that asking for an asset requires 100 milliseconds, but is not the real use case. Most of the use cases are asking XML requests. So should I need the assets? And if I get the assets, will I measure the time Odoo takes to response, or the speed at which NFS is able to load a file and send you through the web server? And another use case I can use is choosing to create a new route, which is web-noob. And this route within Odoo just returns true. This method has the advantage that to reach this route, Odoo should create a session, open a connection to the database, and do nothing. So if I'm using this route, I'll be able to check at which speed Odoo is able to load all the stuff he needs to answer a query, but doing nothing within the query means I will measure the Odoo framework and not the Odoo code. So I will not be limited by the business code. And finally, which metrics should I use to measure the stuff? We agreed that when the percentile 50 of the response time of the query is twice its initial value, we agreed that we have reached the system limit. We will also simulate users who frenetically click on the interface or hit the F5 keys, which is not a real user, but it simulates the number of requests we can send to the server. The setup we are using to load test the stuff. All is hosted in the same big data center. We use physical server, not virtual machines. We have one testing server. Locust will run on this server, on this testing server. This server has 48 cores, so should not be the limit. We have one load balancer. It's an HA proxy, and HA proxy has 8 cores. Behind this load balancer, we have 4 Odoo servers. So all the requests will be given through the round-robin method through to the 4 Odoo servers. And finally, all those 4 Odoo servers are connected to one PostgreSQL servers. Each Odoo server has 8 cores, and the main PostgreSQL server has 48 cores. We do no SQL queries, so this should not be the limit neither. All tests are run from the testing server. When we run a test on a monolithic setup, which means Odoo and PostgreSQL on the same server, we will run all on this one. And when we run a test on the load balanced setup, we will send the request to the HA proxy, which will redirect queries to the Odoo servers, which are connected to the PostgreSQL server. So, the test we have done. First, normally, we have a huge setup. It's mainly robust. We have already deployed this, so we're confident with this, and we use as a parameter the concurrency. The concurrency is the number of requests of threads which sends requests to Odoo in parallel. One concurrent process send the request to Odoo, and when it gets the answer, send immediately another query. So at 50, it seems we reach the limit of 500 queries per second. So I'm able to ask for the web login and 9 assets 500 times per second. So the limit is way lower than we thought. We should find a culprit of this. Is this QWeb? This is the number of workers on the Odoo side. Let's play with the number of workers. We have 4, we use the monolithic setup. We have 48 CPUs. Let's say I launch only 8 workers and I'm starting my test. Or maybe I can launch 16 workers, and do I get the same results? Do I get better results? Which are the response time? I remember that reaching twice the percentile 50 is the limit of the system. And what if here I have a number of workers which is equivalent to the number of CPU. Our test is CPU bound, which means we can only answer queries at the speed of the CPU. If I add more workers than the number of CPU, figures are exactly the same. When I'm CPU bound, it's a nonsense to add more workers when those workers have no CPU to run on. I will now use the WebNoop route. So it's a full cycle, but it's not limited by NFS anymore. And now we reach around 2,000 requests per second with 64 workers. And sessions are stored through NFS. So all the sessions are shared between all servers through NFS. It's the same pattern but with higher figures. Each request creates a new session. Sessions are stored in NFS. In fact, we are measuring the speed at which NFS is able to create files. We are not measuring the speed of Odoo. Let's try to store sessions in PostgreSQL instead of storing them in NFS. So we remove the NFS bias, and we see that we have a different curve on the graph. We are still creating a new session for every request. It's not a real use case. A real use case is a user which we get a session at the first request and reuse his session from request to request. What if we reuse sessions? We will reuse sessions. One session will be reused for 10 requests. So, with 64 workers, the number of requests per second, we have changed a parameter in NFS. We have set NFS in async mode. We have no difference when reusing the session. Reusing the session is a bit slower than not reusing the session. And storing the session in NFS unleashed the system. Here the same graph for the percentile 50 and 95. Let's use a more realistic use case. We will have a delay between requests to simulate some real user, and with exactly the same concurrency, we are not able to reach the system limit. So those requests are a number of concurrent requests we handle in parallel, not real users. We can handle more users than the number of requests in parallel. So, if I want to compare a load balanced system versus a monolithic system, so here are the specification of the CPU we have on the two different machines. The load balance server are a bit faster than the monolithic system, but we will lose time in connection due to network latency. Here's the graph. So it's the number of requests per second. 4 nodes, storing session in PostgreSQL. We are running on 40 workers, but we only have 32 CPUs. So we have more workers than we have CPUs. On the monolithic system, we have the 40 CPUs. So here is the monolithic system. Here is the distributed system. If we store sessions in NFS instead of storing them in PostgreSQL, we have the blue line, and the blue line is equivalent to only 3 nodes storing sessions in PostgreSQL. And finally, if we only have 2 nodes, here's the line. From line to line, we add each time 8 more CPUs. And if we had 8 more CPUs, which means adding a new front end, we will reach the exact same curve as the monolithic system. So you can scale horizontally or vertically. It will not change the stuff. The monolithic looks like the 5 nodes with 80 cores of CPU. Here are the results for the percentile 50 and 95. So we don't talk about changing the number of slaves in Locust. I have not talked about that. Changing the CPU frequency. To change this, I should have both new servers or stuff like that. Or changing the number of CPU in the machine. As we were using physical servers, we were not able to change easily the number of CPU in the machine. So we've tested web login and assets. We've tested WebNoop to increase the performance. We've used session in PostgreSQL instead of using NFS, but who creates 3,000 new sessions per second in his Odoo setup? It's not the real use case, so Yes, in our use case, storing sessions in PostgreSQL improve the stuff, but normally it's not the limiting factor in your normal use case. We test not realistic customer. Adding delay is more realistic to simulate a real user, but it's not easy to determine which is a real delay. Locust can add some random delay between queries, but adding this random delay makes the test less repeatable. Removing the delay makes the test more repeatable and reliable. We do not test the business code here. We just use an empty route to check the limits of Odoo. And the methodology we use to test the server is exactly the same if you want to test the business code. So it's always the same stuff. It's easy to achieve. You have talks which have been done by my colleagues to explain how to use Locust. It's measurable, predictable, it's factual. You can use vertical sizing or horizontal sizing. It doesn't matter. You can choose to add more front end or add a bigger server. It doesn't matter. It's easier to add front-end servers at buying each time a new bigger server, and it's better for the customer when you can give facts that the system will accept the load, the response time are measured and stuff like that. Thank you. If you have any question? Yeah.
The delay, I'm not familiar with Locust that much. Do you mean like a delay between the first handshake and then a request of some kind, or do you mean like a randomized delay, like how fast it will fire to give the request? Like sometimes like random, and then that number is used to like 75 milliseconds now, then the next one's maybe 95 milliseconds. How does it exactly work?
The question is, what do I mean by the delay? So, what I mean by delay is, in our tests, when the system sends a request, when he gets the answer, he immediately sends a new request. Locust is able to randomly choose a delay, which means when he gets a response, he will randomly select a delay between two given values, and then issue the new requests. When he gets the second answer, he will randomly select a new delay and so on. So delay is randomly choose between each request.
To simulate that.
To simulate users reading pages and stuff like that. Okay?
So you have a tool that's monitoring the database bottleneck things, like some business case that affect with the Postgres performance.
Do we have, the question is, do we have tools to monitor the database? Yes, we have tools to monitor the database. We are using Munin to monitor the server, the whole server, disk, CPU, memory, etc. And we use logging queries within PostgreSQL. And we use PG Badger to pass the log of PostgreSQL. Thank you.
86 here. So I have to remove the name at the line after 100.
You have to manually remove these lines now?
Sorry?
The lines after 100, you have to remove these?
No, I'm just going to show you what happens if I have an error after 100 lines. So I'm going to import, and you see that 100 records have been imported, and I have an error at the record 179. So now I can go to this Excel file, correct it, put a name, I save, I come back on my in Odoo, I reload the file, and I continue my import by clicking on this button, resume, and you will see that actually Odoo continues importing after the line 100. And so now you see that 400 records have been imported. So if I go to my contact lists, you see that I have imported everything. So basically, what is really interesting in this feature is that, as I said, Odoo continues importing at the batch where you had the error, and so if you are asking too much to the server, if you are asking to import a lot of records before you had an error and a timeout, so now we will avoid a lot of times with this feature. Another use case I wanted to show you is if I want to update records. So here I'm going to go to my product lists. I already have 28 products. I will go in the list view. And imagine I want just to increase all my prices by 20%. So what I'm going to do is just select all my products and export them. Important, when you export data and you want to update information, you just check this box. And I will remove those fields that I don't need. I need the name, the sale price, the cost, and I can search for example, the category, product category. So I will add the product category name. Up. And I will export my data. Here, as you can see, since I want to edit information, I have another column that appears, the ID. So this is the unique identifier that you need in order to be able to update data. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to apply a formula. For example, this. I'm going to extend this formula to all my products, and I'm going to remove the name of this column and put it there. So I can keep this column. If I don't have any name for that column, Odoo won't import this column, basically. As you can see also, the name of the columns here are the technical names. So I recommend you to always use the technical names if you want to import data or edit data. And I'm going to save and come back on my database and click on import. I load the file here. So you can see that those columns are not going to be imported. I don't need to import the product category, this column neither. And I will simply test and import. And in just a few clicks, I edited a list of 28 products, but you can do that, of course, for thousands. About the technical names, I always recommend you to go on the product form, on the form of the model you want to edit, and go into the debug mode. So developer mode, you can access it from the settings. And here you can activate the developer mode. So you go on the form you want to edit, and just by doing that you can see the technical name of the field. Here it's type, for example. So you are sure that you are not going to edit a wrong field, simply. I will also show you I will show you another feature. For example, on the contacts, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a tag here. That is, for example, B2B. Okay. And I will show you that a tag B2C doesn't exist. So it doesn't exist. I'm not going to create it manually. I will create it via the import. So if now, for example, I go to my my contact file, I can here add tags. For example, B2B. I will just check if the name of my field is correct. Category underscore ID. So I have to put here categ underscore ID. And I will here put another tag, which is B2C. So if I save now, I come back on my database, and I want to import data. Here I didn't use the external ID, so I'm going to import new contacts. I'm not going to update them. I load my file. Where is he? And I check this box. If I test now, I still have an error at line 400. I didn't check the box.
Make a smaller batch.
Import. So you see that here I had the error message because I didn't check the box. And now for the tag, I don't remember which name it was. For example, Cécile, you'll see that the tag has been created for the B2C. This one. So I can do that on any many-to-one fields or many-to-many. It's really easy, just one checkbox. I think that's everything I wanted to show you. So if you have any question, just ask right now. We have still 1 minute.
Is it possible to create your own import template?
Create your own import template, an Excel file, you mean?
No, because I want to make an import a lot of terms.
Yeah.
So I want to save my way I export, save my export template. I want
Yeah.
export template.
Indeed. So for example here, products. You can click on export. Here.
Yeah.
It was already available in previous versions. You can create a template. So, for example, I will add a lot of fields. This one. Yeah, you can drag and drop. And here I'll save it as template 1. Oop. And every time you will come back here on the list of your product, if you click on export, you can select this template.
Now on the other side, you import some.
But then you use a template, an Excel template.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You said that it's not possible to import historical data. So I wonder, when we do implementation, when we cut over from old system to Odoo, for example, then how can we migrate the opening balance?
So it is not impossible to import historical data. It's possible, of course. We just don't do that. We don't recommend to do that because it doesn't make sense. The question here is about accounting. So what we do when we start using accounting, we import indeed the balance, the current balance of all your accounts. We often do that in 3 steps. So the balance for all the accounts, the balance for the customer accounts, and for the supplier accounts. And so we do an importation, and at the date we import everything, we switch to Odoo from the previous system.
So you mean that it's possible to import the open balance?
Open balance, yes, it's possible to import open balance. Yeah.
Is there any, what is the value limit for the batch and how is the performance?
This is a technical question. Well, when we have like a lot of records to import, thousands and thousands, we use a script that one of our technical consultants created. This is with the batch. This is an intermediate feature before starting using a script. The size, I don't know it personally. The limit, I don't know it. But you can come to me later, and we will see with the technical consultant. Yeah.
Is there a command line tool maybe?
Is there
maybe a command line tool instead of the graphical interface for?
Sorry, I don't understand the question.
Is there like a terminal line that you write?
Command line.
To do what?
To import CSV.
In Odoo, no. But again, this I think we can see with the technical, because I never use commands in order to do imports. Yeah.
Is there a way to import the translations?
Translations. Yeah, you can import translations. Yes.
From here?
Sorry.
From Excel file.
From an Excel file. We do every import from an Excel or a CSV file. Yeah.
Is it possible to import images for contact or product images?
Yes, we can import images. What we use is also a script if there are a lot of images. But basically, you have to prepare a folder in your computer with all the images you want to import and a code in order to match to match this image to the correct product, for example. Yes.
Is there a way to show the technical names in that view?
In that view, yeah, you can search for the technical name. Here I'm in debug mode. So for example, the tag, you remember? No, I'm on the product. So I will go to the contact list, export, and here I search for cat tag, and tags appear. And if I put my mouse here, I see the technical name as well. Yes? Last question, because we have to stop. Okay.
I asked to.
Yeah, you can come to me. Thank you very much. C'était
in this model of first self-register, we have also the possibilities to describe with text. And but I think that the draw is more significant. And the description with text, there are two descriptions with text. There are one that may be required, is a smaller text, and the description of text in this model business is to say there are more circumstances of the accident. What is here very important is to say that the id is on the id, and the possibilities to say that is very clear to make that. This kind of information, you imagine you are on the ground and you are the witness. You are also the responsible of the treatment of the information a little bit later, and it's possible that you may enter a text that you say, perhaps they have a shock, and with panic you enter on the leg. But the draw is the true. The text maybe in this case is a little bit deviant. And we continue with that. Bon, the widget here is very simple. The use of it in this case is very simple. It's only at marker. And the marker, the possibilities to use a lot of type of markers are available. We have donuts, we have a square, we have cruise, we have a lot of things. Then possibly also to reset the draw and to make another painting. Then I think that for this case, very simple to put an object somewhere in the pictures. Okay. Now we will see a second case. The first case is a very concrete, very simple, very concrete case. The second case, because the widget is very new, the second case is a theoretical case. I will take I have taken the fleet module of Odoo, and I have integrated the widget inside it. Then we will make a tour of the application. No, okay. Yeah, the fleet business model is very simple, I think. You have car makers there, Audi, Alfa, BM. After you have different model. And here I have inserted the pictures of a plane, the pictures of a scheme of the car. Then they are without any other information. We continue, we're going on. Okay. Here there is nothing, right? No. The model business of the fleet is that the driver is strongly linked to the vehicle. There are a lot of other possibilities to manage fleet, but for the demonstration here is perfect. Tony Rose has a little incident with the vehicle. Then what they have to do? They have to do to mention it in the right form, in its vehicle form. I think that is a little bit more late. Okay. I've already seen that. Okay. Yes, it's here. Like the first case, possibilities to add marker, right? We have already seen it. And the second case is there. As you can see, the widget has different tools in the present time. Pencil, cycle, spray, pattern, square, diamond. The possibilities to select colors. Sorry, I'm not an expert of PowerPoint. Okay. Also, we have shadows or something like that. As you can see, the reporter say that we have problems with right lights, and the sheet is scratched. In fact, right lights is completely abstract. Because right lights when you are on the front of the vehicle, but if you are inside in terms of insurance, right position is in the other side. But the draw is the true, and it's a very good manner to enter this kind of information. Okay. Okay, we have a round of this video. For the integration of this widget within the modules, you can simply add it in the manifest, make a dependence with the web widget image paint. In the models, there is, wait a minute there, and the models is filled binarily. And the more interesting is in the form view. There are a lot of options. It's not necessary to mention all options. In fact, it's not necessary to mention options. The option that they are presented here is the option by default. Then with 508, you can see that. We have also read-only as false, but we manage read-only true. We have a static background image to upload. The static image is in fact in the system of file of the server. Somewhere in the hierarchy of files, there are files that will be very static there, and we can mention it to upload something at the initial position when we create a new record. Also drawing mode, it's possible to draw or not, and the possibilities to add marker, true or false. This is clear information. The marker shape, we have a lot of marker shape in the documentation of the widget. All is mentioned. Marker color is the color in English terms, red, blue, and green. Marker size also, and also background image field. This one is the possibilities to reference another field in the model. To upload when we create the record. Donc it's a strong, very dynamic. I want to see, perhaps, no, I will put it in mirror system. Mirror system now. Okay. for example, go there, edit. I want to reset it. Okay, there are no image here. It's completely normal because the model Opel Astra is not filled. Then we don't, for this vehicle, the scheme. Then for this case, it's necessary to load something. It is okay, and then there is possible to draw anything. Okay. I think that the presentation. No. 1 or 2 minutes. Okay. The widget is also tested in with the unchange method, and I have tested in the REST user. If I take that, okay, we did it. I have to load something. This one, for example, and this field is with an unchange based on this another. Then if I change that, for example, open, it's beautiful. Okay. Then the widgets are running in a lot of cases with the read-only behavior, unchanged behavior, natural behavior of all Odoo that we offer us. Okay, I think that I've made a little round of this widget. Now where you can find this widget. Actually, the widget is available on the Odoo store in 12 versions. Is there image paint widget? Obviously, the use of this kind of widget is a multiple domain area, like architectures, fleet, a lot of things. Everywhere, every modules may use this widget. A question, I will respond of the first question that we received yesterday at night. The people ask Odoo in V11. Okay, we have it in our internal repository, but we want to distribute to in 11 versions. 13 versions, I think that will be easy to adapt it to because I don't see obstacle to make this with difficulties for the new version of Odoo. We have this so for 10 version, and at night I don't think that I will make the adaptation for the 9 version. Then, okay, I have presented this little widget, but small is beautiful. Thank you. I wait a question, especially from my colleague, because they prepare some strange question, but. Okay, thank you, Benjamin. Yesterday, one people say to me, a client of us, say to me, you have made that as very interesting because we have a studio of architecture, and your widget is very interesting for us. Then, do you have the text tools? Okay, text tools will be arrive. Is not a strong step to make that. Perhaps at the end of this month, I have time to put in as a new tools to integrate with this widget inside.
Okay, well, welcome everybody. My name is Bruno Cornille. I'm partner at Accomodata. This is Ronnie Houben, our operations manager and business consultant regarding Odoo for fashion. It starts to become an annual event at Odoo Experience that we present the latest release of Odoo for fashion. So we will do the same this year. Maybe a little bit of history, since we have like 20 minutes. I will have to keep up pace, but we'll try to spend as much time as possible for the demo. But we started with Odoo for Fashion in version 8. It evolved in version 9, version 10, version 11, and now we are on version 12. As a matter of fact, as of today, Odoo for Fashion has been divided in two subcategories. We have a solution for wholesale businesses in the fashion, and we have a solution for companies who are active in the retail part of the fashion business. So Odoo for Fashion covers both sides. We will focus today towards the retail part of it, but of course we will show some features of the wholesale business too. You might have noticed in Odoo version 13 that has been released yesterday, there is also some functionality regarding grid. You can order an item in sizes and colors. Of course, this is an overlap with Odoo for Fashion. Our strategy as a product developer is to maintain, to keep up as close as possible with the Odoo standard. So as of today, we feel like we have more functionality regarding grid possibilities, but we will continue invest in our product and take as much as the standard possible. So we are not competing with Odoo. Instead of it, we continue building on top of Odoo. So as of today, with Odoo for Fashion, indeed, we have enhanced Odoo with grid functionality on purchase, sales side of it, front end, back end. We also have enhanced the POS modules in Odoo for Fashion, and we will give later on a full demo of Odoo for Fashion POS. We have enhanced CRM and functionality such as pre-orders for the wholesale. We have the grid on purchase, on warehouse management. We have been building reporting specific KPIs for the sector. And in fact, due to the Odoo platform, we propose a solution that is multi-channel, multi-brand, multi-store. We combine ERP, POS, and e-business all together in one package that we state that we can implement fast, since we have a lot of standard functionality for the sector. So I will start my presentation with a little demo of some wholesale functionality, and we will continue, Ronnie will continue later on the retail part of it. So indeed, when we go to Odoo, this is version 12 with all Odoo for Fashion modules integrated as an end user. You don't see the difference between standard Odoo and of course the enhanced modules that we have. When we go to products, of course we have like extra functionality regarding gender, collection, brand, size grouping, color grouping. So indeed we put a lot of extra information on the product card. As a result, when I create a proposal or I do a purchase, we can explore the grid possibilities in Odoo for Fashion. So when I go to a quote or an order, which is standard functionality, and I would quote for this store, I can select my customer, and then here I can select a model of a product, and I can add my functionality. This is our grid. Indeed, we have the possibility to enter quantities per size, per color, you see, very fast. And of course we also have per product the price, the stock in quantities, etc. The interesting part of it is that we can of course modify the prices, we can give an additional discount, we have a lot of extra features and possibilities also already in the grid. But just as what we have seen in version 13, finally it results in order lines, and then of course we can combine and continue the flow. So we have that whole functionality already in the system. Okay. We have that on sales, on purchase, on warehouse. We combine that on invoicing. So on your invoice you see indeed all the lines, but you can also see the information based on the grid. But I won't spend too much time on that part. I would like to take the opportunity to show what we have done on the retail side of it for for fashion-oriented companies. And I will give the mic to Ronnie. Here you are, Ronnie.
Okay. Put it a little higher. So Odoo has a standard POS, but with some of our customers lacked a lot of functionality, like reservations, transfers from one shop to another automatically, being able to sell gift cards in turnover, not in turnover. And also in the back end, we enhanced the flow of opening and closing sessions so that it's more, how do you call it in nice ways? I would say idiot-proof, but to avoid mistakes. So since the time is very limited, I will go very fast. So when we open now a new session, our customers want that the opening balance is automatically set. Normally here there are a lot of coins, cents, all coins possible, so I will start now here. And also who did it in the morning. So who opened the drawer, the session. So when I now open it, I can open the session. The screen will come back later. I will duplicate the screen. So also I have the backend. So now it's like standard with the POS. We enhance the speed a lot of loading. It can work up to 50, 60, 70,000 products without any problem. At first sight, it's the Odoo POS, but like you see here, we add a lot of functionality visibly. And a lot of customers say, okay, this is very nice with pictures and stuff, but we want also the grid. So we ordered a list. So we entered a list. I don't know the product demo by heart. Let me check for Clockhouse. So for instance, there's a list and you can open it. You can open it by color. You can open. So it's a pivot table on color and size with extra functionality. Sometimes somebody comes to the counter and asks, do you still have this in this size or in this size? Immediately you have the stock grid on hand. Not only in your shop, but you can also see it in the other shops. So we have customers who use it on 8 shops on different locations, so immediately they can see the stock on other locations. This is the visual part. Now let's move on quickly to the sales part or the functional part. I won't do any normal sales since this is too easy. Let's say somebody comes to the desk, he wants to buy this shirt. You can select the customer, you enhance the search. That is really a fuzzy search. You can search on, for instance, I see here somebody living in Kortrijkstraat Tielt. So if you enter Kortrijk Tielt, it searches on a lot of fields together. Oh, I made somewhere a mistake, I guess. No, anyway. I will take a customer, set customer. What I want to show you is, for instance, they want something to be changing a button or whatever. You can enter a note on it to say what has to be changed. But you can also, when they leave it there, you can say, okay, they leave it here, there has to be changed something. We can register reservations. They do an advance payment in the POS. So a reservation is made. They say, okay, approximately, let's say next Tuesday you can pick it up. Done. So now, when it is printed, you see there was an advance paid for 50 euros for this. So next time the customer comes back with this ticket. Of course, it can be scanned, but I don't have a scanner with here. There is always an overview of which tickets has been are in reservation, so they can immediately pick up their goods, pay it, and okay, cash 80 euros pay. So this is the first big enhancement we did, is the possibility to make reservations, advance payments with notes. I didn't add a note, but it's possible. The second scenario in this is, I want this, but it is not available. It's available in one of my other shops in another city. So again, I can say this customer wants this. So I'm going to pay 20 euro in advance. But now I say it is a special command. It's just a terminology. So now they can say, okay, it should be picked up from the stock in my other shop, and it should be brought to the reservations here in this shop. So all stock-related transfers, internal transfers, stuff like this, are automatically handled in the backend. A mail is sent to the other shop and please take this out of your shop, deliver it to us. And again, the customer made an advance payment. He has his ticket, so next time he comes to pick it up, either you scan it or you take this reservation and you can pay it. Or you can cancel it. Oh no, it was not that what I wanted. So you can cancel it. So let's say I cancel it. You can cancel all products or some of the products you made a reservation for. If I do a cancellation, some of our customers don't like to give money back. Say, we will give a credit voucher. So also this system is in place to issue credit vouchers. So when they don't give money back, so they pay 20 euros, I decided not to give any money back. So now, as you can see here, a credit voucher is issued. Now I should write down this number since I don't have a scanner. So I can show you, we can also pay then with reservations. I hope I wrote it down correctly. So next time, I give it to my wife or to anybody, this credit voucher is not linked to this customer, it can be used by anyone. But you have to have the voucher with you. So now I do another payment, another purchase, I say I want to pay. As you see, this was another enhancement, it's a parameter. You can force the POS that you have to indicate who is doing the sale. So PIN code protected, so always the person who is behind the counter is printed on the ticket. So you know this sale was done by this person. If there's something wrong, you know who did it. And you can force it. So now he comes to the counter, but he has a credit voucher. So we scan the credit voucher. I just have to enter it manually here. Oh. Probably I made a mistake. That's why I opened the backend. If there are any discussion or you don't find anything, you can always follow in the backend issue date. So it was this one of 20 euros. So it is this voucher. I don't know what I did wrong, but okay. The system knows, okay, there's still 20 euro valid on this credit voucher. You can use the entire amount, or you can say, no, I will only use 10 euro this time, in whatever case that would be, and the rest can then be paid by cash, bank terminal, or whatever other payment method you have, but this is standard POS. So I'm going to pay the rest by cash, 50 euro. So also in the back end, there is a trace. If there's any discussion with the customer, you can always look up 1 second, because I'm not used to this keyboard. You can also always see what was done with that credit voucher. It was used on this ticket, on this shop, so you can click and then see the history of the usage of this credit voucher. We did the same for, like I said, for gift cards. So when I sell a gift card, you can decide, because I don't know in other countries than in Belgium, it depends on the, if you have one or multiple VAT percentages in your shop, if it is immediately in turnover or only in turnover when it is used. So this is a parameter, but that doesn't matter now. Here you have also the choice. Some shops, some customers work with very fancy gift cards where there's already a pre-printed barcode, so they can scan it. If not, you can decide to print a gift card on a ticket. For my sake, no, I will use a number I can easily remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I say, okay, 100 euro. Multiple card, I won't explain. This is something that's a very strange case, but it works. So I'm going to sell it together with some other stuff. I'm going to link it to a customer. That's not mandatory. While I'm on this screen, you can also see we also changed the loyalty principle. In Odoo, it works most of the time with free products or with points. Our customer says, no, we want to give after each sell, for instance, 5% for the next time. So loyalty amounts in this case are really in money. And we can exclude products. So say on this and this product, we never give loyalty. You can also decide to give no loyalty on products which are already in discount. So there are also some use cases you can say, okay, loyalty is 5%, but not on these products, not in these cases. So this is also something. 5 minutes. Like I said, I have to go very fast. Set customer. So I go to payment. Again, I have to say who I am. I'm gonna pay by cash, 200 euros. So now I sold a gift card, and also in the back end you can see this gift card. Of course, afterwards this gift card can be used, issue date, can be used afterwards with the full history. So if I look, it will be full history. Let me have a look quickly, since I have only 3 minutes left. So I showed you the stock grid, return of goods. So when somebody brings something back, that's a very interesting feature. You can say, okay, I will bring it back, and normally they have to have their receipt with it. If you have your receipt with you, but I don't know any receipts by heart now, you can enter this, you can scan the barcode on the receipt. All the products sold on this ticket will be shown. You can say, okay, this and this is returned, and then again you can decide either give some money back or and issue a credit voucher. This is the principle of returning goods. Product view is just that you see the back-end view of so the information on the product. Don't mind the spelling mistake. And also which colors is it available. You can enter a remark, as I said, on a ticket. It's also printed on the ticket. History is to be able to reprint the receipt, gift card list, so that the cashier doesn't have to go to the back end to search for. You can also search here for active credit vouchers and active gift cards. And another feature we added is to, while you are in the POS, to register money coming in or out without selling or buying something. Like you have to go for a coffee and you take it from the cash, so you don't have to go to the back end to make a ticket. You can just enter here, take money out, the reason, coffee, and I took, it's a mistake, I took 2 euros. All of this, of course, is, so I'm going to close this screen since I only have 1 minute left. Now when I go again to the dashboard of the point of sales, you will see we enhanced a little bit the, so when I'm going to close this shop, you can see everything that has been done. I'm going to end the session. So now, you can't close the session. We remove this button until you set the closing balance. So we force the cashier to count, so entering everything. So again, I'm going to say I have only one piece of 500 euro. Then the system says, okay, you have the difference of 360 euro. I will take here now 360. I will make it correct now just for the case. But also who closed it. When there is an issue, they can, why was this or this? So I'm going to say some Bruno closed it, confirm. So now you can validate and close the post entries. So these were the major features: gift cards, credit vouchers, functionality for transferring between shops, make reservations. We made a lot of enhancements, but time is too short now to show them. I think this can conclude this very, very quick demo.
Okay, it gives you an impression of, if I can have the mic.
Oh yeah.
It gives you an impression, an appetizer of what Odoo for Fashion POS does. You have to remember that this has been built in cooperation with a lot of customers. So there is a lot of best practice from out the business that has been put into the system. And of course, our business model is we implement Odoo for Fashion in Belgium, but we work together with other partners, other Odoo partners also worldwide. So at this time we are partnering with Canada, we have a partner in Rome, we have a partner in Rome, Italy, we have a partner in Spain, but of course we are open to work together with other Odoo partners in order to deliver our components cross-border. These are some references, wholesale, retail customers, and our partners at this time in Spain, in Italy, and in Canada. So I hope this gave you a little impression on our product, on our vertical. We are really keen to continue in investing and developing our solution for that micro vertical. Of course, if you have any question, don't hesitate to contact us. I think our contact information is printed on the leaflet. If you have any question, don't hesitate.
You have so many things for the company who uses it. Anything for the customer? Because you have loyalty points and all the stuff, gift card vouchers.
Yes.
This can be useful for the customers. End customers for something that's anything?
I didn't understand quite well.
Do you give access to the end customer to the...
Is there a mobile application or something so that end customers can also connect? You know, sometimes end customers are your salesmen.
Yeah, okay. Well, there we have to make a difference between wholesale and retail. In wholesale part, of course, a customer can log in into the portal and see his documents, but this is more or less standard features of Odoo that has been, that of course is also included in the system. On POS side, that could be indeed a very interesting enhancement. That's a very good suggestion.
We have credit vouchers and gift cards can be used on the website.
On the website, but if there is something like our application, that will be a quick, widespread.
Yeah, indeed. It's a good suggestion. Yeah. Maybe a little topic. We also have built a connection with reporting tools in order to have appropriate reporting on POS side of things. So if you want to know, okay, what did our collection on brand Jack and Jones, we have a full dynamic reporting that we also can provide in our Odoo for Fashion offering. This is Power BI, but we have made a link between Power BI and Odoo for Fashion. Okay, if there are any other questions?
Yeah, one small. Internal transfers between shops. When the stock arrives on the stock movement, is there a notification to the customer your item is ready for collection?
Not in this version. Okay. It is possible, it is on the shortlist even, but not right now, I have to be honest. But it's a feature that is in demand by some customers. Yes.
Okay. And you've made a lot of enhancements to the POS in general, which are great. Is it possible or applicable to have this for general retail? Yes. Not just for the fashion industry, because in it, you know,
you are
quite variants or maybe even not.
Yes, you are not mandatory to use the colors and the sizes. For instance, we have now a prospect who is in a completely different branch, but who is very eager to start using it.
Yeah.
No, it's not really linked. It's a side product of Odoo for Fashion. It works fully together with Odoo for Fashion, but also as a side product.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Other questions?
Is it possible to put a sales order in the in the POS and to make a ticket?
If you mean really in Odoo terms, a sale order problem?
For example, you make a quotation for a customer.
Yeah.
And
this is something we are now investigating for that new prospect. Since this is really working on POS orders,
yeah,
not on sale order, but for the new prospect we are looking for an integration sale order, POS order also.
To the store.
Yes.
They want to the ticket.
Yeah.
And it's a great problem in France because.
Yeah. The functional analysis is done. Maybe next year we will be able to show it, or not next month, but in a few months. But it is under investigation since we have really a rather big prospect for that.
Yeah, and in this way you can have the feature to make the customer able to make a quotation on the site, on the website,
yeah,
and to do the same job.
Indeed, yes. Yeah. But not right now. We still have some work to do, so that's good. Okay.
Great work.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Samer Hbaya. I am the Managing Director at Ever Business Solutions. We are a gold partner for Odoo. First of all, I want to thank you for attending my talk and to thank Odoo for this great experience and opportunity. We've been partners with Odoo like 1 year ago. We chose this product or this platform because it's flexible and we were able to build our own applications on top of it, as well as integrating some of our own products and form a great business case. So this is what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about one business case, a product of our own that we integrated with Odoo, and it gave us a great business case to offer to our clients. So first of all, let me talk about content analytics and its challenge. It all started at the beginning of the digital era, where the objective of firms and companies was to control information. But today, with the big data concept and the different types of content, the different data sources, the challenge today is to capture and to analyze every piece of data that could have a value for your companies. And here, let me mention the internet information. Can you imagine how many leads do you miss yearly, for example, that were posted on the internet, but you missed them because simply you didn't know about them? Or how many feedbacks, whether positive or negative, you missed because also you didn't know about? Imagine that you have a tool or an application that can monitor the internet pages and inform you on time and in the right place about any information that can have a value for your business. So this is where our big extension, the EBS Web Content Analytics, stand for. First of all, EBS is the abbreviation of Ever Business Solutions, which is our company. And the tool is divided into 5 layers. First, capturing data, in that case from the internet. Processing data, I will talk about it in the next few slides. Publishing data into Odoo. Analyzing data and searching data anytime in the future. I will go deeper into each layer in the next slides. So first of all, I'll start by a definition. What is EBS Web Content Analytics? So as we already stated before, it's an intelligent and automatic scraping tool that extracts data from social media channels, from YouTube channels, from specific websites, and enables real-time data analytics and search. So if we can go through the flow below, first step is capturing data from web and social media channels. So we have a web crawler tool that intercepts and captures the key data and key messages from the websites or the social media channels. The second step is to process data. So what is processing data? Data today is not always text. It can be text, it can be image, it can be audio, speech, or even videos. So we have tools that convert and transform those types of content into keywords, okay? We will explain it later on from a technical perspective how it's done, but the objective is to transform all those type of data into text, detect the keywords, and do the needed analytics on top of it. So after processing data, we have to publish data. And this is the beauty of the tool, because it can understand the keywords, it can understand the sentence in a way to publish it into the right Odoo module and the right Odoo page. So for example, if I captured a lead, it will be automatically published into Odoo CRM. If I capture a complaint, it will be published or pushed into Odoo help desk. If something related to a person, to the CEO of the company, to an employee, to a customer, it will be published in the contact module. So this is it. We process data, we publish it into the right page of Odoo. Now we can start any process based on the core features of Odoo. And later on, we added also an advanced analytics and search engine, because having big data, you will surely need an advanced search tool, which does phonetic search, linguistic search, and semantic search. As for the analysis, we added also some advanced analytics for sentiment analysis, trend analysis, entity extractions, and others. So this is it as a simple definition. If I go for the benefits, I guess you started to imagine what are the benefits of such a solution. So it gives instant meaning to millions of external, poorly managed content. We can start by the sales and marketing. So as we said, you can generate more leads because you're monitoring the communications on the internet. You're monitoring who's asking for a product that you can provide, for example. Understanding the market trends, whether yours or your competitors, who's trending, who's not. Analyzing the public reviews and analyzing the public sentiments. Whether it's a negative sentiment or it's a positive sentiment, you can also monitor those data on the internet. Second benefit is customer services. As we spoke before, you can check, for example, a lot of persons go to a specific forum, they ask for a support, they can complain for a service, okay? So the benefit here that you can monitor those forums or any specific pages, and based on your monitoring, you can do the right intervention in order to help this customer or this client and solve his problem. And you can probably ask him to remove his complaint from the internet. So instead of keeping this complaint for a year, you can do the intervention and make him move it on the right time. Third, security and investigation. Okay, here you can think of government, intelligence, police, but it's not always this case. Private sector companies are in need also to understand and to be aware if someone is posting something that can affect them from a security perspective, talking about the CEO, about a product, or about a customer for them. And finally, decision making. Because you have a lot of information about you and your competitors, you can make decisions in a fast way and in the right place. So to go fast, I will go in a fast way through the layers. First layer, so we said, first step is we capture data. We have connectors for YouTube, Twitter, specific websites. For example, if you have a website that we do not have a connector for, what we do here is we work through our engine, through APIs with the website in order to build a new connector for this page, live audio streams and live video streams. You will ask me, where's Facebook? Actually, we don't have a connector for Facebook because it's illegal. Today it's illegal, it's not permitted to crawl Facebook pages, okay? So after we capture data, we process data. As we said, data can be text, can be video, can be speech, and can be image. So if it's text, what we do here is we recognize the content of the text, whether it's in English, French, or Arabic. Currently, we are working on those 3 languages. Our roadmap is to introduce other languages in the next few years. So we recognize the content. Our engine can understand the content of the text. This is the first type. The second type is the image. Within the image, we can do different examinations here. For example, within an image, there can be a text. But a text into an image is not a normal text. We need an OCR engine here to recognize the words into this image. And our OCR is also in English, French, and Arabic. We have a very good OCR engines. The accuracy is around 99% for English and French, and for Arabic is more than 95%, which is the best in the market. So this is for the text part into the image. As for the remaining part of the images, we have a face detector that will recognize the people into the image. So if my picture is already enrolled into Odoo or into our engine, and we were monitoring an image on a social media, and I was within this image, so it will do the comparison and it will recognize me. Third part is object recognition, so we can recognize laptops, cars, even logos of companies. Plate numbers, you can build different cases here. For example, at the entrance of a building, if there's an electronic gate and you are an employee who is allowed to enter this building, so once you're there, the camera will capture your plate number, you are allowed to enter, it will give a request to the gate electronic gate, and it will open for this guy. Okay, so this is the image. Speech, we have a speech-to-text tool in order to transform speech into text. Once it's text, you can do the analysis you want. And the last type is the video, which is the most complex, because you can find all the others within a video. So within a video, there's a speech, so we do the speech-to-text translation. Into a video, there may be some text, we do the OCR, and of course, the video is divided into frames of images, so you capture the images and do the face detection, the object detection, and plate numbers detection, as there's a car here. So this is the second step. We process the data. When we say process data, we transform them into keywords, into text that can be understood by the system. We process data. Now the beauty of the system is where to publish it into Odoo. There's an AI and a machine learning engine, okay, that can understand those keywords and those content. So if I take an example, I posted a video on YouTube, and within this video, I said, for example, hello, I'm looking for an ERP, what do you suggest? So once it's processed, okay, the machine learning will understand those keywords. So it will do the combination, ERP, suggest, looking for. It will understand that this could be a lead. So it will publish it into Odoo CRM as a new lead. If I post another video asking for support, hello guys, I have a problem, a technical problem, how can we solve it? Okay, it will do also here the analysis and understand that because there's a combination of support, help, ERP, it will recognize that this could be a ticket for support, and it will create it into Odoo help desk. Information about a person will be published into contact management, about a product into product management. So here we have put the words into the right page in Odoo, we can start any automation related to Odoo and finalize the workflow. Finally, once we're done, we have to keep those data in order to search for them later on and do the analytics. And having big data, you will need an advanced search engine. Advanced search engine include phonetic search, multilingual, semantic, and transliterated. Meanings. Phonetic search is you are searching for a word that can be pronounced or it is pronounced in the same way but written in another way. If I'm searching for a person named Tony with I, maybe we can write it Tony with Y. So the system will recognize that this is the same person, so it will inform me or notify me about the result. Multilingual search is also very important because you can have branches, and every branch has its local language. So if I'm searching for the word vehicle or car, and I found it in my French branch, for example, written as voiture, which is the meaning of car in the French language, also it will inform me about the result. So it finds the synonym in another language. Semantic search is about finding synonyms. I'm searching for the word thing with G, and it found the word object. The system will recognize that those are synonyms. It will also inform me about the result. And transliterated search, this is cool and this is important during our modern world because we all use this chatting way of talking. For example, if I'm looking for the word between and it found it written like BTW, the way we chat on WhatsApp or those social media, it will also inform me about the findings. So this is the advanced search criteria and how we are dealing with them. As for the advanced analytics, we added some predictive analytics like the sentiment analysis. So okay, I will have a chart or a report on Odoo informing me about the sentiments regarding a topic, regarding an object, regarding an employee, regarding the company itself. A trend analysis for me or for my competitors. And this is predictive because, and preventive also, because let's say I'm monitoring a post on Twitter. Okay, I have 1 view today, tomorrow I have 5 views, the day after I have 10 views. So I can intervene before I make it reach the peak. Okay, maybe I don't want it to reach the 1,000 view or 1,000 likes, so I do an intervention in order to prevent the future. And finally, entity extraction. It's also important because you can get a chart or a report about entities, for example, locations, dates, names. Okay, so you can analyze all the locations within your system. So Paris was mentioned 10 times, Brussels 20 times. You will have them in a part. So this is it. The main idea of my presentation is to inform you about our product from a theoretical perspective. Now, if you are interested to see it in front of you, you can pass by our booth at Ever Business Solutions booth. And we can show you a demo, at least for a part of this flow. So thank you for your time, and these are my email and phone number. You can drop me an email, call me for any information you may require. Thank you. Any question? Yep.
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
You grow it?
Yeah, but in a difficult way, because it's like Facebook. They have some limitations somewhere, but it's not blocked as Facebook. So we are able to crawl some pages, public pages, but we are facing some difficulties. But the main difficulty is on Facebook. It's not from a technical perspective, it's from a legal perspective, especially after the last things that happened with Mark Zuckerberg. So it's now, they are very strict with this case. We used before to crawl the public pages of Facebook, but after this this is what happened with Mark Zuckerberg. We stopped it. Yeah.
I guess you should have certain like filtering levels that you could tune, because you might get like too many.
Yes, of course, of course. The main idea is you are crawling channels. You're not crawling the whole internet. For example, we can crawl Odoo channel on YouTube. Okay, so here you are only monitoring Odoo videos. Now, Odoo videos, you can talk about 1,000 video. It's not the case. Okay. If you have a robust server, if you have a storage, you can make it. It will take more time, okay? But the idea here is not to have a real-time monitoring. So what we do here is we schedule it like every day. So every day I get my responses. But you can run it manually. It's like the scheduler of Odoo, where you can click on a button to run it manually. So if you pass by our booth now, we will run it manually in front of you, because if we addict to the script, it will do it every day. So we have to run it manually to show it to you how it will happen in real time. So as you said, the idea is to filter and crawl channels.
But do you have opportunity to adjust like how detailed you want to go? So because if you're, for example, like I start using the product and I, for example, get like 100 different objects, because like I'm parsing like 1,000 different pages, right? So, but this is too much. So
yeah.
I want to get like less detailed, and I'll go to at least 10, because like, people can only look at 10 a day.
Actually, once you're parsing everything, okay? But what you're parsing is not what you are interested in. So it parsed everything, Then this is where the publishing tool works, and this is why I said this is the beauty of the system, because it recognizes the words that you are interested in. For example, you parsed a video of 1 hour, okay? Then the system will capture the keywords that you are interested in, and it will show you only maybe 3 or 4 keywords that you are interested in, and it will tell you at what minutes they were mentioned. So you can click on an icon besides this keyword. It will forward you directly, let's say, to the minute 25 into this YouTube video. So you don't care about what is parsed. This is the engine. This is the system. You care about what you're looking for, and this is what will be published for you.
All right, what about setting negative keywords?
Sorry?
Setting negative keywords. So although you have the combination of keywords that you're looking for, there may be other negative keywords. Google do it with their keywords.
Yes.
So set it as negative so that although it picked up the positive, it also flags this as in it's no longer relevant because that's been mentioned also.
Okay. Actually, how it works, how the artificial intelligence and machine learning works. We have a team, and a big team of 20 employees that is learning and training those tools. For example, the system will not know by itself that this is negative. So this is where we, as people...
Oh, you need to program that in, but I'm saying doesn't have that capability. Yeah.
Yes, and we divide them later on into categories. So if it's negative, it will go, as we said, it can go. It's a business case, so we can choose any business case. So if it's something negative related to service, it can go into help desk. So it will recognize the words. I'm not happy, unhappy, support, okay? It will recognize that this is something negative, and it will publish it into Odoo help desk. For the positive things, we can publish it into any app. We can publish it into the marketing, or even create an app on Odoo and publish everything positive. So the main idea is to understand the keywords, then what you can do with it, you are free. Okay? Thank you.
pourriez parler un petit peu en
Oui, bien sûr. Bonjour. Hello.
peut commencer? D'accord. Hello, we all speak English here. It's okay, fine. I introduce myself. My name is Fabrice Costa. I'm from Moldeo Interactive. I came 1 week ago from Argentina. Have a small enterprise. We are working there with another group of developers and another group of partners, different teams. And in this talk, I want to focus in the geographic data portal we developed as a big data portal experience, because it's about statistical data based on geospatial information and activity of industry and manufacture in America Latina. Latin America is like from Mexico down to Argentina. So specifically, I'm a developer and a consultant, and sometimes I do digital art too. So one thing that is interesting about this development, I will talk about the modules we made for treating the data and showing it and integrated it into Odoo. So the first point about geographic statistical maps, when I talk about that it's a little more than maps, it's because all the statistics that were processed were made with the program that is for implement artificial intelligence sometimes in a big scale. And we will work with two foundations. One is a scientific foundation called Fundación Observatorio PYME, who is in charge to have statistics and reports made over all the little and medium enterprises in America Latina. Specifically in Argentina, that's where we started the project, but now it's spread over all the continent. So today, what I want to talk about is the technical issues and some things that are interesting to talk about, because big data is really one subject that is very trending, but also has a lot of issues. And when it comes to integrate all these tools in Odoo, we have to face another issues. Sometimes the bigger issue is to have the professional with the knowledge, and also with maps it's very difficult to integrate all the technologies that are constantly evolving and very rapidly too. So when you think you are doing the right choice, we are always talking about open source. You know, the first module is about integrating open layers, but also to develop an interface made with JavaScript. I'm talking about we started 4 years ago, so now we have another task that we will progress with other technologies. But at that time, JavaScript and Angular, for example, were not so mature. So this is one of the subjects I will talk about today. Then the second thing is about the portal access, interacting with big data and sharing content, sharing all we can share, because one of the principal goals of this site was to develop a platform, not only some data visualization tool that looks pretty and you can show off in conventions, etc. But also think about a tool that really can make a difference, because there is not as such analysis done on statistic and less in emerging countries. So this is maybe a thing that we can talk about after I finish the talk. It's for a little debate. They just told me that because this is one of the last talks, we will have maybe 5 or 10 minutes more, so we can put all the questions after and then begin to chat. So portal access is for the user. The user can log into the system and make some consultation, make some queries, and generate his own report. Then the third point, snippet for maps at the front is easy. It's about just Odoo in this new skin that we are very glad to have now. It's more user-friendly, if you want. Then we thought that it's interesting to make something more easy to show or to reference these reports. So I will talk briefly about this. Then from geolocation to segmentation, it's some prototypal tool that we are working in, and it's about working with your partners. In your Odoo installation, you can integrate some imaging, but also geolocate your partner. This is something that Odoo can do with another modules. And then we came to maybe some conclusions and the future that we are facing from the development point of view. So, little modern maps, yes, it was very difficult to take care of all the needs. Oh, I can see the text. Well, here we have 80% of data is partial. This is something that we already know, but 0.5% of global data is analyzed. Is very little percentage in relation to what is the growing of the data. 100% of all data is relational. This means everything is connected from the point of view that it's not enough to just categorize data. We have to know how is it connected to other things. So this is the reason why one of the things we developed, I will show you rapidly on one image. You can see there a lot of clusters. Well, these clusters are the results of the calculation made with R. Then with R, with the results, we take all the data and format it to make it compatible with open layers. Open layers is very important for us because we always looking for open source tools to work with Odoo, and beside that, you know that open source has always some specific kind of problem that is not always you have the last tool really beta tested or fully functional. So at the same time, we always have the possibility to put our hands on the code and maybe enhance these tools. With OpenLayer 3, we were able to make all that. Then nowadays, I think we have OpenLayers 4 yet. But in this software, the URL, the link is geoecon.info. I will put it here so you can have it. Okay, so you can access it right now. We just migrated to Odoo 12. And one of the tasks we have is to make it user-friendly. So we decided to do two sorts of work, that is the server-side optimization, all about OpenLayer support, but also JavaScript, D3, JS, and some little prototypes we made with Angular. But Angular is like a goal for the next version, for the next year. because we will do it fully with Angular. The statistical data here can be browsed with different input box and select box, and we have a lot of countries. I mean, Argentina, Ecuador, Mexico. You can see here clusters about some kind of indicators that are made of competitivity or sometimes industrial levels. All is related to industrial activity. And also you can cross it with population, occupation. I mean, when we talk about occupation, we are talking about people who is working, but also numbers of enterprises that are like economical units. We talk about economical unit because in each country they have different terms to associate enterprises. Then we are not talking about different, all scales of enterprise are taken in account in here. So it's a very big quantity of data. So it takes us about 2 years to just make the homologation of all the data of different countries, and that takes a lot of effort because we have people talking simultaneously with the different center of data that not always have all the data, and sometimes also the big issue is that is dependent of the year of the last measurements made by the state. So this is one of the problems that we are facing too. That is, working on homologation is a very intensive task, but very interesting too. And when we began with the project 4 years ago, we have just 5 countries, and now we have every country in Latin America. And maybe not Bolivia specifically, but it will begin soon, because we have to homologate all the data, and not always there is not in emerging countries all the specific measurements made maybe at the time. So when you gather information, it's another problem to take care with different different politics and different state-of-the-art technologies and public policies. You know, it's different in every country. But in general, all the continents, including Brazil, is in the interface. You can browse all this information. I will show you a little bit of the interface. Let's see. Here, if you can connect. Well, so it's something I know it could happen sometimes. Sometimes the net is a little slow. So I have the interface, the interface with the database in my machine, so we can just take a look. So when you begin, it just set a cookie, so when you have different layers that were loaded, you can update it or leave it, but you can continue to browse. Okay, the thing is happening here is we don't have a good connection, maybe, it's possible. Okay, so the background layer, it's from remote sites that are available publicly, like Google Maps, like OpenStreetMaps, so we are using always this kind of maps. So in open layers, you can utilize all the maps that are in the different platforms. But here, if you don't have a minimum speed, you can, it's normal here to have the?
Yes.
Okay, so I will continue. We can take a look to how we make a query here. So you have the different countries. Yes? Okay. Let's see. Okay. Now you can see. Okay, this one, the behavior I was telling you about. You have to have a connection to the web. Relatively decent, but here we don't have any connection.
It works with the phone. I can get the mouse.
Okay, I can connect my phone. It's possible because I think it's important. C'est le réseau local. Ouais.
Le Odoo guest.
Bah oui, l'Odoo guest, je l'ai ici. Bon, ben, we make. Okay. Let's see if it works now. Okay, it's better now. We will see if we can load the online version, so you can see it integrated into Odoo. The best way we found to integrate open layers into Odoo in this version, because now we are developing another one, more like the Geo Engine Oka community modules, but with the iframe we make a lot of improvements and we can optimize a lot of things too. So this is the first version. So here you can see all the countries that are already loaded, and then once you choose a country, you can choose the type of statistics. We just began to translate, just for Europe, all the contents. Then in every structural data that you have here, you can you have different interfaces to work with all the possible clusters and integration between clusters. So the different statistics are made of we will see this in the home page. You have comparative geography, sectoral geography, twin territories, and special themes. This is important because then you can put some semantics over the different analysis that you made over these reports that you can make. So, okay. Then you just choose and gather the information. This, you have the cluster that were founded, and then you can navigate directly to where the cluster are. Then we can do the same with the different levels, and then we are using vector layers to do this. Then you can navigate with the mouse. And also you have a window information that gives you more data, yes, over the local and specific departments. So you have 3 levels always, that's country, province, and department. Sometimes in different countries it's named different. So this is the basic tool that integrates D3, open layers, and Odoo, just to show all the possible reports that you made. Then the next point, I will go quicker now, it's about the portal user, the portal access. So what you can do, you can go to indicators and layers, then you can share your map selection as a report. You set the title, the image, the description, and share the link. So you can share it, but also you can record it in Odoo. So once you record it, you have an image, and then you can add a description. This is the first step to not only make something like you can navigate, but also begin to make some like combined indicators that is very important for this kind of work. So you can register online, okay, and then you can go to your portal user space where you have all your reports. This is all done with modules into Odoo. So the idea behind all this is not only to develop all the IT text that we need to make this kind of thing, but also think about how Odoo can integrate this kind of tools in every production system, every administration system. And that's the kind of thing that we are interested to in. So the portal user access, I give you the time to experiment. It's online, so you can do it wherever you want. And then we have this kind of snippets. The snippets are the drag and drop content on any page, so you can have a snippet which is related to the report. This one is very easy to customize. It's enhanced data visualization because it's one of the features we have here, that in a web page you can have this. So if I edit the page, you will see this is something that you can grab and modify too. It's very easy to modify because it uses all the Odoo standards. Then, once you create, I just created one. I will go quicker. So then you can just access, clicking, and then it will open the report with all the data you just gathered. You just browse this, and what you do is very simple. If you are doing some kind of own layer customization, you can change the opacity, and we are planning to make a lot of customization to the map, like any platform that today you can see online, like Mapbox, etc. So it's open layer, so we can integrate with all the other platforms, like Map here and such. You can see here that we can use every maps, and then it will help you to determine or to gather other kind of information. So everything is done in JavaScript, so you can extend it too. That's the kind of thing that we're interested to, because we're interested also in the public sectors. And this is a tool that we are already spreading in the community. So the next point, it's about what happens when you need geolocation to segmentation. Well, this is very interesting because geolocate partners, we already can do this in Odoo. But using partner categories is something that is not so common. You know that you have tags in partners? Well, you can tag your partners and you can use it so you can have different kind of association with your partners. So one thing we are this time prototyping is using the indicators as categories to group the different partners. So you can have something that relates the partners with the indicators. And we're not talking about only one country, but sometimes we have one country that have some clusters where you have a lot of activity about some sectors, and then maybe the kind of structure you have there, you can see this in the layers. Sometimes you click here, and you can see here that you have some specific sectors that are active, and we have some other interface that permits you to allow you to just see how much equivalent or how much even could be one cluster with another. So you can compare politics, I mean, or economics, or maybe sometimes just public statistics, rules. We are all talking about the public here, but also it could be for the private, and that's the kind of integration we are looking forward to with Odoo. So every enterprise can have the indicators loaded as categories on your contact tags. Then you can geolocate all your enterprises, and then you can compare them with different layers where you are analyzing level of industrialization, competitivity, occupation, how much population you have, if it's growing, if it's not. That it's all the kind of information we are really interested to cross. And this is the thing about this talk. It's about making some improvement on this kind of assets and this kind of tools, implementing them as tools, as modules in Odoo, so we can begin to really use big data and not just talk about big data. And that's the point where I'm aiming. That is, all future administration problems are commonly geospatial, statistics and automation related. This is our work nowadays as IT developers. But are we really knowing what we are doing? Well, this is the kind of debate I will open, if you want, so we can work together over this model, so we can study and implement a better version, always in relation to this data statistics. So the future of GeoEcon is more and better EA for clustering data. That is already done. We are working on this. The REST API to access full platform functionalities, community and public access related to public administration. This is really important for us. So this kind of thing will be done on a kind of collaboration with community and private sector and public sector. Then licensing for private access is interesting too, because we can make reports, very specific reports made in PDF. So where you have much more graphics if you want. So I can show you here rapidly that you can make a PDF report with D3 and all kinds of statistics by sectors, where you have more information. It could be interactive too. And printable. That is very important for when you have speaks, you have to go to any reunion, etc. Well, after that, the last things that I like to show is when you integrate with Cesium, like the 3D version of open layers. What is interesting about that, you can see it rapidly here, it's dimensionality. Multidimensional of the data is important, so you can focus, look from a different perspective of the data, so you can have more details that sometimes you can't see if you just saw colors or some kind of patterns. Well, 3D is something that we are really, really interested into, and our clients too, and the public administration is looking forward to this kind of thing too. Why? Because we have to make the data more suitable, more easy to read. And well, the 2D, the VR today is a trending topic, but with this kind of information, it makes sometimes a big difference. So we are adding Europe and other countries in the next year. Integration with other partners' existing geospatial tools. This is something we are working all day. Evolving business model is sometimes something that we can open to all the community and try to solve it. Well, thank you. I thank to the Odoo team and all the open source community, and thank you for the time. I am the last one, so yes. I can continue to speak. So if you have any questions, I will be glad to. Yes.
Yeah. No, okay. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Basically on whether there is a backflow of information from the different sites that have been mapped. So how do you get updating that kind of information? How do you receive information from the different geolocations?
Yes. Yes, we are working on trying to make this more easy, but so we have we have a different states. So first we have to have all the information given by a specific country. okay? That it's formatted with the institution that is working with the data, okay? So once we have that, we have to check that is in the good format that we can all put it into R. With R, then it enters a full bunch of processing algorithms that generate the clusters. It analyzes all the data once it's normalized. And then we create a lot of worksheets that then we gather in the database.
Yeah.
And just after that, we can put it into open layers. So we are using database and we are using vector layers, so everything is optimized. But sometimes we had a lot of trouble because when you have Brazil or Mexico, you are you're handling maybe 3,000 departments, and you have to put all this into the layer. We had to develop our own vector layer server too. So now that we have a lot more of experience, we are optimizing and we are looking to other partners that already have this kind of technologies. Here in Odoo, you have Camp to Camp, for example, geospatial models, so like GeoEngine, and there are a lot. But what happened to artificial intelligence or map technologies? They are evolving too fast.
Yeah.
So you don't know who to follow. Maybe sometimes Google Map, sometimes it's not Google, sometimes it's Map Here, sometimes it's Open Layer, sometimes it's Mapbox. So all they are working with the same kind of format, so it's not even necessary to compete. You just have to be sure to understand the format and the standards. So these platforms are working on that. What we are aiming is working on that to the public level. We can have the information, so we can work with this. It's very important. Yeah.
Thank you very much. It was very nice. My question about the business model. What is your actual business model?
Oh, it's very, very simple. A very good question, a very simple answer. We don't have a nice, good business model because we still are in the prototyping.
I see you're selling reports, so that's something.
Well, what is interesting with Odoo is you can sell reports. Well, we are aiming to sell the services, okay. And then we also want to have a community version, like a public version, and we are talking with a lot of countries that are okay to put money, so it's public state work of art, if you want. But it's not so easy, and it's very difficult to gather this kind of.
I mean, you can sell your solution to a country, someone in the country who can implement this for this specific country.
Yeah.
You can sell this service as a recurring fee for using the service.
Yes, yes, and different levels too. Okay.
So it's not clear.
No, it's not clear because it's growing too fast now. So we are not knowing how to do that. Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We are going offline, but
we can continue to talk after that.